Afternoon guys, James here from Sunseeker Southampton, down at Port Solent today. Lucky owner on the back of their house has this beautiful Sealine 380 that's just about to come to market. So just spin the camera around here. Welcome to Mojo. So these started out life as a Sealine SC35 back in the days when I sold these new. Very popular boat, one of the most successful boats Sealine in fact ever launched, and they were updated then later to the S380 that you see here today. So that basically comprised of a refreshed exterior. They included this extended bathing platform in the measurement. The boat was 36 feet as standard anyway. New colour schemes, etc., and more modern interior with a walnut wood, and it absolutely sets the boat off. Really popular, very good with the families. Got 3 beds in the back cabin as well as a separate island double forward. Massive cockpit, great for the marinas here in the UK, and also hugely popular down in the Mediterranean. Won multiple awards when they were first launched. Typically built with Volvo's D4 260 engines with a standard option. There were a few boats with the D4 300s, but they were more than sufficient with the standard engines, which is what this boat has. She gets on for around 30 knots flat out, burning around 65 litres an hour at 22 knots. And this one's presented in really good order. 2014 build. We're told launched in 2015. 2 owners from new. First owners had her up on the Thames, so very easy life. And then these owners bought her 2018. Leg service 2019 at the end of the year, and then engines done January of this year. So service works will be due after Christmas, but still several months of usage for the rest of the 2020 season to get some great days in the winter where you can get out on something like this. You've got that lovely opening roof above the cockpit. Diesel heating system up there makes it a real contender for 365-day usage. The owner is planning to keep the tender and outboard on the back, and it's got a Hurley davit system as well there. So they'd rather keep that, but it could be potentially negotiated, the davit system, if somebody wanted to do something similar going forwards. Canopy arrangement, and these Sealine had a patent on how their canopies work, so you can slide these out of the track in the top, fold the whole lot round back on the aft here, roll it all up, and they've got hidden lockers underneath in the back here, making it a very slick, efficient process. The owners obviously had some modifications done here with some little straps which allow you just to roll it all up without storing it away if you so wish. Nice if the weather was ever bad, just to unzip these and fold them down for a bit of ventilation, or if you're coming in alongside. When we go on board in a minute, you'll see from the Helm they afford really good viz for close quarters manoeuvring. So presents in really good order. Had a quick look around this morning, just appraising her for sale at the moment. Can't see any faults really to point out for potential purchasers. Say canopies are good, upholsteries are good. Obviously end of season now, you might start thinking about polishing gel coats and what have you for next year. The teak will all clean back up nicely to a uniform colour with a chemical 2-part treatment. But say, having been based here always in the UK, hasn't suffered from that UV degradation you get on boats down in the Med. So we enter through this good sized transom door. It's very solid if you've got dogs or young kids. Loads of handrails everywhere. It's worth noting, with the canopies out, there's a handrail that runs across the back there. And we come on into a cockpit. So the teak floor here was an optional extra from the factory, and the main seating is here on the port side, and it's vast, absolutely huge, big U shape. You can see the diesel heating outlet underneath the back there. There's a big storage locker under the back. See down there. There's a further locker storage under here. Nice sort of big corner cushion there. It was a good place if you want to kneel here whilst going along. Nice flat top here if you want to put a paper chart up here if you're doing cross-channel passages and want somewhere for an observer to face out, keep an eye out for lobster pots and what have you. And you can really appreciate now how good that viz is through these massive glass windscreens. Helm is to starboard, and it's very well equipped. Everything you'll need for cruising here on the south coast. So we've got our 2.5-inch Volvo EVC displays for the engines. We're about 145 hours on the engines. Lenco electric trim tabs with LED gauges here, and then we've got Volvo's fly-by-wire throttle controls here for easy manoeuvrability. And then with them back into neutral, we've got the further upgrade to Volvo's joystick system. So literally hit the docking button when you're ready to take control, and then if you're pushing this sideways, it's using the independent steerage of the drives to give you sideways sort of IPS type propulsion. Twist the top, the boat goes round in a circle, backwards, and you can steer at the same time, or forwards the same. So it's very intuitive for those that aren't on boats regularly. It's a real confidence booster, and when you're ready to leave off the dock and back into the fairway, just let go of the joystick, engage the engines, and it's automatically into gear. Takes away the faff of using things like the steering wheel. You've got, of course, optional bow thruster here as well, so very, very easy manoeuvring. Full set of gauges, real ergonomic helm here. So these were laid out in pairs to make it very easy to monitor temperatures and pressures. We've got a 12-inch colour hybrid touch plotter here, so you can either touch the screen, or if you so wish, use the buttons on the side here when needed. We've got i7 colour displays here, which will give you digital readouts of depths, temperature, speed, and what have you. And then below this handy cupboard, somewhere to keep your sunglasses and general bits and pieces. We've got a control for the Fusion AV head unit that's downstairs, further remote control for that. 240E Raymarine DSC VHF, and then there's an additional cigarette plug there for doing your phone. Little bank of Carling switches here for things like pump overrides, horn, lights in the cockpit here. Over here we've got a windscreen wiper with a delay function, and you can see the steering wheel has a little button underneath here to tilt that to get into a nice comfy position. The helm itself, we've got a bench seat suitable for 2 adults. These cushions lift up, gives you somewhere to stand then at the helm if you wish. Say we're looking straight out there, and if say just you undo the zip here, so this was a nice little feature to stick your head out if the weather isn't so good. You can still see from the stern all the way up to the bow there without having to take anything out. And you've also got the benefit of it being canvas on the nice days. You can remove that altogether and get the wind in your hair, proper ventilation through the boat. So I've currently got the roof fully retracted here, so we just stand back at the aft end of the cockpit here and get a feel for how big that affords. And then you just hold the middle. It's on ball bearing cars like you'd see a sail go up a mast. They've got these 2 big heavy duty clips, and there we are, literally 5 seconds after we first started the process. We've got a closed cockpit. Very, very practical. It's 2 layers this, so it provides a little bit of insulation to it. One is the sort of waterproof membrane on the outside in canvas, and then we've got this nice soft fabric just to soften it off a bit in here. Little detail panels here with inlaid lighting. We've got Fusion stereo system. Table is an up and down pedestal base here. In its lowered position, you then had a cushion that went on top to make a sunbed, and the top opens up to give you space for dining. There's still room for a couple of directors' chairs on the floor here, so easy to sit sort of 7 people around that, I would say. And then opposite we have a full wet bar, so factory fit electric griddle, sink, secondary drinks fridge, paint finish on the doors here, handy storage cupboard for provisions. The fuel taps are in there as well. There's a big locker underneath the helm seat here to take a life raft, or they're using it, you can see, for directors' chairs. And then in the aft starboard quarter we've got this little sort of jump seat arrangement, just for a bit more Again, social seating, gas bottle storage. It'll take 2 bottles underneath there. A great feeling of space. So we'll have a look in the engine bay before we go downstairs. So literally just twist the catch there. Good size locker. I say with a stern drive configuration, engines are sat right in the aft end of the compartment. So we've got a couple of additional batteries down there for the inverter system, the fire suppression system. See the Eberspacher diesel heater up on the wall there. Say battery chargers and electrical systems here on the forward bulkhead. Handy Racor fuel filters there, easy to get to for both engines. And then this sort of mesh protection area forward of the engines. You've got belt guards on the front of the engines as well, so you can store sort of a couple of big plastic boxes down here. There's an upgrade. This was a drop-in additional bathing ladder that goes in the platform. Hidden underneath the bow of the dinghy there is a small locker for storing gear actually on the bathing platform that's self-draining. You get a couple of ropes and bits and pieces in there. But you can appreciate just why these sold so well. So really good option. There aren't any other boats of this particular model on the market in the UK at the moment, so it's a great opportunity to get out on the water. So whether you're a first time buyer starting out or somebody coming from a smaller boat, I'm just going to open this roof back up. So if you hold it in the middle at the back, fastest way to open it back up. Let's head on down and take a look below decks. So just before we head downstairs, I'm just going to pause at the top here so you can take in how much space there is in this downstairs saloon for a boat of this size. Really well thought out. We head on down these nice wide teak steps. I'll just reverse round so you can see them there. What would otherwise be dead space. We've got a couple of little storage bins here in the top. Next step down has a big deep locker, and there's a pump void below the gear that's stored in there at the moment. Corner galley, so aft to starboard, which comprises of a spice cupboard in here, and then we've got plenty of space for crockery, mugs and what have you. Worktop itself is upgraded to this corian with a little fleck in it. It can be wet sanded, so little scratches like this will come out predominantly with a polishing machine. So we've got a big corner cupboard there for storing dry provisions. Good size single bowl sink, and then cooking facilities themselves. This top lifts up. Clever little feature here, drops down the side just to protect the wall from any spray when you're cooking. So you've got twin burner gas top and then a gas oven with a grill section in there. All looks pretty clean and tidy. Pan drawer underneath. Just move the dehumidifier out of the way. And we've got a good sized corner cupboard in there, isolators for the gas system there. Large Waco fridge with an ice box in the top. Nice clasp on that, little detail. And then a cutlery drawer above. And then below, just move this rug out of the way. We've got a big storage locker under the floor with bottles of water, things like that. A couple of other hatches there. That one's the holding tank, and then this one is the black waste system. So that's the shower sump box, access to seacocks and pumps and what have you. Toilet system. Let's put this mat back down. And then opposite the dinette seating here, we've got a cupboard up top there. Obligatory drinks cupboard with a nice little rack there for champagne glasses. I'd say that's about 23-inch TV. And then across opposite, nice size lower dinette. Bearing in mind with that deck saloon up top, you've got loads of options of where you sit out. Clever table feature here, so you lift the table up, spin the top round, and it supports itself on its own base. It's adjustable on the pedestal leg there. It doesn't make a single bed. It doesn't make a double bed, but of course with the backrest cushions removed there, this is more than ample if you wish to use it as a single. Upgraded to leather here, so just having a look at the fabric. No marks in the hide, all looks pretty good. You've got nice Bomar stainless steel port lights here, and ocean air blinds as well, so these are an upgrade. Show you how these work. So rather than curtains, you've got these nice blackout blinds, and then above, high level storage. So we've got a Fusion AV system there, little drop down fascia plate there with a iPod dock in the back, and then we've got glasses storage up there, fixed panel in the end, and then this end we've got the domestic 12 volt systems. This is controlling lights and pumps, cigarette lighter plug here, AV input for the Fusion. There's a little inverter control there to give you AC power when needed, and then on here this is your main breaker panel. So we've got battery switches when you first come on the boat to turn on engines and domestics. We've got the heater control here, and then up top this is the 240 volt system with a shore power. Boat doesn't have a generator. We didn't supply many of these new with one, but it could be retrofitted if you ever need it. There's a couple of extra batteries with that inverter, so that's more than sufficient for most owners out there. Wood finish in here worth noting. So this is a satin finish black American walnut. So you've got solid cappings, this slightly darker wood, and then a veneer on the cupboards. Nice little two-tone feature, goes nicely with the cream headlinings up above. And you'll notice this massive skylight. They're really good at getting the natural light down into the boat. It's got a good blackout blind on there for privacy. And then two cabins. So aft is your guest cabin or kids cabin. Good sized door. We've got a skylight up in the ceiling there to let natural light in. And then we come down in here. These sold really well as a family boat where they needed space for growing kids and what have you. So you've got three good sized single beds. One here on the port side of the boat, and then down underneath the duvet here. That centre section here is removable, and it basically runs between the beds here to give you a pair of twins when needed, or obviously set up as it is now with a large double, much bigger than the forward cabin in terms of the actual bed size. So occasionally owners using this even as their master cabin if not needing the access straight into the heads itself. Heating outlet here, and then behind me we have a good sized wardrobe. We're on UK 3-pin plug sockets, which are easy enough to change if you want to take it down to the med. Put EU 2-pin sockets in. Again, blinds on the windows here. And then we come forward. So the master cabin, very cleverly done here. So bearing in mind you don't use much of the floor space here other than for, say, getting changed in the morning. They turn the doors here into a double set up to give a much wider opening into the cabin. And then you've got an island centre double berth there. We've got these sort of shelves up top there. Again, big port lights, and then behind the door here, good size wardrobe with a mirror on the back. Clever use of a corner drawer here just to maximise what would otherwise again be dead space. If I just shut these doors to demonstrate, so I can stand quite happily here in the space between the bed and the doors for the purposes of getting changed. And then we've got a nice Jack and Jill arrangement into the heads. So we're on a Jabsco electric flush toilet system. We've got a separate shower stall, rare on a boat of this size. Most of them were kitted out where you'd have to dry out the whole compartment when you finished your shower. A nice little upgrade with the synthetic wood floor on the shower there. Cupboard underneath, another cupboard up top here. So a real practical boat, it's packing all in the space where possible. We open those back up to see the saloon from a different angle. And let's head back up, go and take a look around the side decks. So come onto the bathing platform here and you'll see these nice steps up onto the side decks, very wide access, don't need to shimmy along these sideways. Nice rail up on the roof there, making it very sturdy when you're walking along. We've got plenty of cleats obviously down here, good size stainless steel, and again spring cleats in the middle. And we head on up. There was an option to run teak around the side decks or synthetic teak, easy to retrofit if you ever wished. Nice grey canopies here, all in good condition. LED navigation lights here on the arch. So I just turn around to give you an idea. Grab hold of that rail, say it's a nice easy height, very sturdy, boat's not rocking around whilst I'm walking along. And then a vast forward deck, obviously this is housing that big cabin downstairs that we've just been in. So there was an option to put some sunbathing cushions up here, not so common in the UK as you tend to sit back in the aft end, but they could easily be retrofitted. These rails were optional up on the bow. And then we've got a good size anchor locker, recessed anchor winch in there. There's a rail on the underside of the lid there, it's handy for tying the fenders off. You could get all the fenders in the locker, one of these. That was an option to have the opening centre pulpit there. And we've got deck controls here for the anchor winch. You look up now and you can appreciate the size of those vast windscreens, absolutely huge. Great visibility, good sized windscreen wiper blades, and you can appreciate the opening roof now from the outside. So if I just come and climb up on the rail here to the side, look down in, you see just how much space that affords. Up top, boat started life on the Thames, so this centre arch section actually folds aft to just reduce the air draft. And then we've got a digital TV aerial this side, twin trumpet stainless horns. There's a socket over there for the ensign staff, single VHF aerial, and it would be easy enough to add a radome in there if you wanted to carry a radar to further upgrade the nav kit. Coming back down here, so these are a retro, not from the factory, just to give a little bit more sturdiness for climbing on and off on the aft quarters here. Nice little touch. So there you have it. I say not yet officially listed on the market, so it's a real opportunity to get in there quick. Boats are selling so fast at the moment. I just thought I'd do a quick tour with you today here before she officially arrives onto the main marine portals. So if you'd like to know any more about her, I've taken some photos today, so full specs just being put together. please check out in the description below where I will list the asking price and further details, engine hours, etc. once we're ready to start property marketing. My mobile is +44 7747 686 587, or it's james@sunseekersouthampton.com on the emails. Of course, I'll send you everything that I've got on her. So I hope you enjoyed the tour today, and we look forward to hearing from you.